This morning.
Well, there are now at least 111 confirmed deaths on the island of Maui as a result of that wildfire last week. County officials are also now on the defensive as questions grow about why sirens weren't used to warn people there.
Yeah, we want to check in with Jordan Segundo, who is live on Maui right now. Good morning, Jordan. We know that you were born and raised in Hawaii. You've also got family who live on the island of Maui. You've been there for several days taking a look at the destruction, but also the hope in the community that is building after these wildfires.
Yeah, good morning, Courtney and John. It's so good to hear you guys in my ear, even though I'm 1,000 miles away right here on Maui. But it has been a very emotional few days here. We, photographer, photojournalist Brian and I, we arrived here Tuesday and we hit the ground running. Meeting a lot of the locals out here. Yesterday, though, the good news, the update is that they did open up roadways out towards the west side of Maui. So we had a first-hand chance to see some of the devastation happening out there in Lahaina. Now, the road into Old Lahaina, Lower Lahaina, still closed to access. That's because, as you can see in some of the video, a lot of chemicals and a lot of dangerous fumes are just kind of floating around in the air. But as you make your way out towards the west, you can still see a lot of the damage on both sides of the road. And I can tell you it is absolutely heartbreaking to know that this community has been completely wiped out and forever changed. These are, homes. These are people that lived in this area of Lahaina for generations. And now they are living in uncertainty, unsure of where their next meal, some of them, or where they're going to live, how they're going to work, how are they going to survive. I mean, living in Hawaii is already tough on its own, and now to lose everything is just so heartbreaking. But we drove a little further out towards the west side, and the amazing thing is that you can see the aloha spirit even more during this time. The people coming together, helping one another out. There is, we stopped by a little beach park in Honokauai, and it was amazing because they had and developed and created their own little donation spots, and they were calling it the Kanaka Costco. Kanaka is native, so it was the native Costco. So people were helping one another out because they were closed off to much of the central side of the island for over a week, so no one could come out, or if they drove out, they couldn't go back in. So the opening of the roadway of the Lahaina bypass is very helpful, especially for communities beyond Lahaina. But once you drive past through, it is just so sad and so heartbreaking. I know the recovery efforts are still continuing. I spoke with some of the locals and they say, the number may be at 111, but from what they saw with some of their own eyes, that number will likely go up. So it's so just devastating to see it. When I flew into Maui, when we flew in, the flight was empty. A flight that usually carries about 300 people only had 58 people on it. But I did, once we flew over the mountains and I saw Maui, that was probably the most emotional time, just to see the beauty of the island, but just to know that the hurt, and the pain that these people are going through. So, I'm so glad I'm here. And I mean, I wish I didn't have to be here for this, under this circumstance, but I'm so grateful that I get to be out here with the local people and just connect with them and share their story. Because although there is a lot of hurt and a lot of pain, there's still a lot of hope in everyone, and that's what's getting everyone through. The love of ohana, the love of aloha, and they feel it. They feel it from everyone. And I know we've been hearing, Maui is closed, don't come. Lahaina might be closed, Ka'anapali might be a little, tricky if you don't want to go that area, but Central Maui, South Maui is still open. We met a couple who was getting married from Sacramento to Maui, and they were considering canceling their plans, but their wedding planner said, no, come to Maui. We need the business. We need our vendors to survive, to live. Change your plans to another part of the island, but don't stop, because we need the love and support. We need to put the money back into the islands here.
Jordan, I wanted to ask you, because you had mentioned earlier, that living in Hawaii is hard to begin with, because it's an island. It's 1,000 miles out into the ocean. And when I saw the devastation in Lahaina, I wondered how many people are just going to move, move to the mainland and say, this is it, because there's going to be some time for recovery. Have you heard people talking about that this is it, this is their home, they've loved it, but it's time to move to the mainland?
Is that even an option for so many people who can't just pick up and move somewhere else?
Right. I haven't heard anyone talk about moving off the island.
That's good.
One concern I'm hearing from the locals is that we don't want to leave this place. We don't want this fire to destroy our home, something that our ancestors lived in. Lahaina is a very old town. It's not just historic in modern days. This was the capital of the Kingdom of Hawaii. This is where King Kameha called his home, so it is sacred land. And a lot of the immigrants who migrated to Maui, who worked in the sugarcane fields and the pineapple fields, they built their homes in Lahaina. So the history is there, and these families who may have been displaced now, they don't want to leave that. They don't want developers to look at this as an opportunity of, look at that prime land, prime real estate. Because unfortunately, some of these locals are getting calls from people saying, hey, are you interested in selling your property?
Wow.
And,
Wow.
I mean, these people lost everything, and you're going to go ahead and want to take even more from them in a time where they're so vulnerable. So I haven't heard about anyone wanting to move off the island.
That's great.
Sadly, that may be an option because housing is difficult to find, and with over 10,000 homes gone, where are these people going to go? I know there are a lot of shelters out here, a lot of organizations helping out. I know a lot of people over in Sacramento, in California, sending a lot, and it's definitely helping. So every little bit counts, even a prayer counts. You know, you may not have anything to offer, but a thought and a prayer, it can be just as powerful. Just remember that.
Jordan, I wanted to ask you, my family and I were just in Lahaina 3 weeks prior to this wildfire. We saw that beautiful 150-year-old tree in the middle of that park. Have you heard about anything about preservation for what was there? I know this is very early in the stages, but trying to bring some of those things back. You can't bring the tree back, but maybe trying to figure out how to preserve what is still preservable in that area.
Well, Courtney, the buildings surrounding the tree the buildings are completely gone.
Yeah.
The good news, though, that tree is still standing.
Wow.
And in the last few days, arborists from around the nation have been in Lahaina doing what they can to save the tree. So the tree is not gone. They say above, the leaves might be there, the trunk might be burned, but the foundation, the roots is still holding on strong. So they are around the tree doing what they can. We've seen some video here from the Department of Land and Natural Resources. They're doing whatever they can to save this tree. And 150 years old, I think it's going to stay. It's a symbol of not just Lahaina, but the hope and the strength that the community has. So.
Of the aloha spirit that you've taught us so much about, and you've done an exceptional job reporting on this for us. Thank you, Jordan. Just a reminder, that number is on the bottom right of your screen there. If you would like to help, if you've got, kind of those feelings, I don't know what to do, that's one thing that you can do.
You can also scan that QR code. It'll take you straight to the Red Cross website where you can donate. And that's really what they're saying. That's
the best way to help.
Money is because if you donate items, food, that's got to be taken to an island 1,000 miles away. Money is the easiest thing for them right now.